Nvidia was obsequious and listened to all of their customers. The Asus comes out with the monitor of my dreams, and I'm gonna keep dreaming. And Intel pulls a really, really weird move. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast. And in yesterday's episode of Hot News, we talked about how Nvidia was potentially mulling over a price drop on the 4070 Ti because the RTX 4080 12GB was announced at the price point of $899, which it's too dang expensive. And so there was some indication that they may actually be reducing that price, especially after some initial struggles of selling the RTX 4080 16GB. And it turns out Nvidia adjudicated and they figured out, hey, it's time. Let's decrease the price on this bad boy. The 4070 Ti, and the 4080 12GB are the exact same specs, but bet your bottom dollar that the 4070 Ti is still ridiculously over expensive at a cheaper price point of $799. It's going to be available January 5th, so tomorrow you can pick it up, and allegedly, according to Nvidia, it's going to be faster than the RTX 3090 Ti, and it's going to have DLSS 3, which, based on some preliminary benchmarks that we've seen, we talked about in Hot News yesterday, it does look like it should be able to keep pace with the 3090 and 3090 Ti. Them saying faster likely indicates that they're counting on that DLSS 3, but from the benchmarks we've seen that don't include DLSS, it's going to be close to a 3090, if not a 3090 Ti level. So it's going to be technically an affordable price drop. It's cool. There are going to be no Founders editions, even though this is supposed to be a Founders. Look at that. I would want a 2-slot. They're not doing that. It's going to be a partner only, which makes me sad. I would like a 2-slot 40 series card, but Nvidia's not going to do it. Partners only. And one of the partners who announced their GPUs before Nvidia announced all of their stuff was Galax, who has a pink 4070 Ti. Look at that. I haven't seen such a thing in a hot minute. It's a beautiful card. And is cloud streaming gaming a beautiful thing? I'm not quite sure, but Nvidia seems to think that they need to bet on it because they're bringing GeForce Now with an RTX 4080. They're also calling their top thing not the 3080 subscription or whatever it was called. They're now calling it the ultimate subscription. It can do 240 hertz, which is strange. I'm really confused. So you get a 4080 level performance for $20 a month or $100 for 6 months, and you get to run it at 240 hertz. I have to question, who is buying a 240 hertz monitor, but is not buying a gaming PC as well, and then they're gonna utilize GeForce Now for that? That seems like a really interesting subsect of population that I'm not too familiar with. It could be for people like my boy Reece, who has a Mac for production stuff, bought an overkill gaming monitor for his PlayStation 5, and then the 4080 GeForce Now would be rolled out, which, one of the great announcements, which I absolutely love, GeForce Now is actually coming to South Africa. Finally, some good cloud gaming in South Africa. You love to see it happening. Also, Nvidia announcing a lot of their mobile stuff. They came out with the announcement of their RTX 4050 all the way up to the RTX 4090 mobile. The 4090 and 4080 mobile are going to start at $2,000. Also, one of the things that they announced was that Discord is going to get AV1 encoding, which I haven't seen that announcement anywhere else. That seems really unique. Let me just, hold on. Discord AV1. They announced it in December. I just never heard about it, and Nvidia's gonna support it. There you go. But the RTX 4050 to 4070 are gonna be the cheaper laptops that are gonna be 14-inch form factor, all of that kind of stuff. But those are gonna start at $999, which is ridiculous. The RTX 3050 laptops you can get for way cheaper. The 4050 laptop, I'm just not so sure that that's going to be a good value. The higher end laptops of the 4080 and 4090 are going to be available on February 8th. The lower end laptops are going to be available on February 22nd, but they're supposed to have a whole lot of improvements, including better efficiency than the previous generation by a lot. And it just, a lot of Nvidia's CES presentation very much seemed like they were counting on DLSS to carry the numbers that they were pitching, especially on efficiency, and that it's not actually in regular games. It's only when you use DLSS 3 do these games get as efficient as they're saying that they are. And one of the other big announcements is that Nvidia is partnering to try to make some autonomous vehicles, and one of the vehicle announcements they had is that GeForce Now is coming to cars. You're gonna get it in Hyundai, Polestar, or BYD. GeForce Now streaming be available in that. Not a lot of discussion about if you could get all of the tiers of what's going on with GeForce now, as well as the fact that it's kind of weird when AMD is partnering with a company like Tesla to bring a PlayStation 5 level gaming experience to inside the car. Nvidia's like, you know what would be great? Streaming. We make the hardware. We could totally make a gaming PC in the car. We're just gonna rely on cloud streaming. So it's only coming to a few cars at the moment. Polestar 3 allegedly should have it. No word if it's ever gonna come to a hearse, but we'll have to wait and see if it gets rolled out any further. And we're gonna roll out Cryptostonks right now. Bitcoin down 0.4% to be at 16,656. Ethereum down a third of a percent. Man, I'm so bad at words. I really need to bowlerize my talking before I actually do hot news. Okay, Ethereum's down, Dogecoin's also down 2.8%, and Tesla, brutal day in the market, just getting hammered, 12% loss to be at 108.27. They might be in double digits soon. That is bad. A lot of that, according to reports, is because they missed their sales quota. They were supposed to sell roughly 450,000 vehicles. They only sold 408,000 vehicles. And so it's creating this uncertainty in the market. You add on top of that all of these other issues that are being propagated by the CEO being a little bit absent, and it's creating a little bit of a downslide. But I'm going to upslide on to Reece. That sounds wrong. I'm sorry, Reece.
Hey, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. I'm feeling a little under the weather today. I don't know if I'm getting sick or what the deal is, but let me power through this and we can get on with our days. Starting with the Sticklemonster SK622, which is their 60% wireless low-profile mechanical keyboard. The variant with the blue switch is currently on the biggest discount at $76.29, which is 39% off and the lowest price in 30 days. And next up, we have a motherboard that has my heart because I wish more manufacturers would do a design like this because it's clean. With the Gigabyte Z590 Vision G. This LGA 1200 motherboard is currently going for $159.99, which is 43% off. And don't forget, you can find these deals and more linked down in the video description. Until next time, I'm going to hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Thank you, Reece. I appreciate those hot tech deals. Much appreciated. I'm just going to keep appreciating things. Everybody, hashtag appreciate. It's called an octothorpe. The hashtag. Found that out. Ridiculous. You know what I also found out? AirPods Lite might be coming. This is because Apple might want to start competing in the lower end earphone game where they want to sell them cheaper than the $129 that they start at, which makes a lot of sense. Apple not known for getting into the cheaper low end market, but if we could get a sub $100 AirPods, even if it's just like first gen AirPods tech, just kind of like mildly updated for 99 bucks, I'd be down for that. The AirPods are a massive industry. It's crazy how much they sell those, and I don't know if Samsung's going to sell a whole lot of these, but they showed off their Flex Hybrid phones at CES, which is both foldy and bendy. It can slide and it can fold. Look at that. It can flap open and then you can elongate it. You can do a whole lot of movements with it, which makes me feel very concerned about its longevity, especially considering what happened with the original Samsung Galaxy Fold and the whole it didn't work very well for too long. Who knows if it's gonna make a dent in the mobile industry, but this is gonna make a dent in my desk and in my wallet, but I'm not gonna buy it because I have no need for it because I'm not a professional gamer. But Asus announcing a 540 hertz gaming monitor. The Asus ROG Swift Pro PG248QP is going to be the world's first 240 hertz monitor. It's only 1080p at 24 inches, but it has Nvidia's Reflex, Nvidia G-Sync. That is just obscene, the refresh rate that's on there. My speed is this endgame monitor that they have, which is 27-inch, 1440p, 240 hertz. That's going to be good. That's also going to be like $1,000. I don't want to touch it. They also announced an ultra wide that's going to be a pretty decent spec list, 5120 by 1440, 165 hertz. There's a lot of monitor good technology that's coming out. LG has their OLEDs, Asus has their OLEDs, Samsung's announcing OLEDs. They're all, oh man, I don't have enough money or enough desks to put all of these monitors on. We should do that for hot news. I should just buy an obscenely large monitor, strap it in right here, and then I have to peer over it like Wilson from Home Improvement, which that's a dated reference. And you know what seems to be dated? The ROG Zephyrus G14 appears like it needs an update. It's getting mini LED, one of the most popular gaming laptops. Gonna have a slightly better display. Also, getting slightly beaten to the punch of being impressive, Alienware announced their 500 hertz gaming monitor, which I'm no longer impressed by. It has IPS instead of the ETN that the Asus ROG one is. So this is the first 500 hertz IPS one, but it's only 500 hertz, which is less than 540. So who cares? All right. You know what's less than 540? 0. Which is how much Hitman 1 and 2 are going to cost you if you have Hitman 3, because IOI is actually going to be delisting the original 2 Hitman games and rebranding Hitman 3 to be called Hitman World of Assassination. So they're going to give you all of it wrapped into one, but they're also going to be raising the price to $70 when it costs $60 right now. It's creating a whole situation, but you could potentially get free games if you only want one game, because it's currently on sale right now for like 21 bucks. It's a thing. You know what else is a thing that I'm baffled by? Bumfuzzled? Is that a word? That feels wrong. Anyways, so Intel launched new chips yesterday. We'll talk about those in a second, but they also raised the price on the 12th gen chips, which is weird. Intel said that they were gonna have to do this. They were gonna have to raise the price on some of their products. So a 10% pricing increase across a lot of the products that they have in 12th gen, which now makes them more expensive than the 13th gen, even though they have fewer cores and fewer clock speeds. So the 12900K now, after its price increase, is $648 brand new, when the 13900K is $589, the 12700K is $450, when the 13700K is $419, and the 12600K is going up to $318, the 12400 is going up to $211, and the 12100 is going up to $134. So there are some heavy price increases, especially on the budget end. The 12100 and 12400 being solid budget and mid-tier level chips, now going to be a little bit more expensive, and it doesn't seem like Intel's doing this to drive you to 13th gen. It just appears like that's going to happen, which they did announce a few more of their 13th gen chips for Raptor Lake. You got things like the 13900 with no K, the 13700, as well as the 13600, 13500, 13400, and 13100. There's a lot of improvements being made on a lot of these. The one that's probably the least impressive is the 13100, when it has the same core count as the 12100. It has a mild clock speed increase, but you got things like the 13400, which is going to be 10 cores, 16 threads. The 13500 is going to be 14 cores and 20 threads for $232. Sign me up. Also getting announced new motherboards, H770, B760 for those more mid-tier builds. But the most important thing that you need to know is not that they announced all of that, but that you can get a B760 in Sonic. You can get it. ASRock announcing a B760 Sonic Edition. Look at this bad boy. You can now have it. If you want the Sonic Edition, there you go.
What the frick are you guys doing? Asking for all this frickin' garbage? Why do we need all that? You guys are the ones that ruin Sonic for everyone. Your fantasies can't ever be quenched, can they? When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
You're welcome for this episode of Hot News. It's over. We're going to be back for more of the hottest tech news tomorrow. Okay? Just schedule it into your life. Watch breakfast.